Part 7. Freedom Alchemy Class. Ascension. Becoming the magnifying glass of the light of the great central sun. Saint Germain, 19th April, 2020. Invocation. Beloved mighty, all-pervading presence, open the door to the altar of our hearts, allowing the Christ consciousness to blaze forth. We are calling to your majestic presence, creator of all things, your limitless power, my perfect fulfillment of every need and highest inspiration, which has revealed the true reality of living and expressing your unconditional love to all life. Come and lift our hearts and receptive minds into your divine consciousness and loving intelligence that so marvelously designed this world and brought it into form as we have committed ourselves to your care, giving us the wisdom to always achieve a loving response to any influences that is not of your consciousness, so that we continue establishing a framework of your divine consciousness on earth. Saint Germain. Greetings, dear ones. Here we are together again within the I Am Freedom Alchemy and application to God life, ready to continue our studies and training. Much has transpired since the Global Day of Independence, and we will speak of this again as time becomes available, and more importantly, as your focus becomes more aligned to your specific tasks that we will define by revisiting in due course. Dear Portia and the Karmic Board desires to elaborate upon the petitions granted, for each one now necessitates your continued attentive and rightful application of your energies to what is now your obligation due to you having been granted the dispensations. Like any new governing entreaty, supplication, bill, proposal, or petition that has been granted needs directives and implementation strategies, and this, dear ones, means time and effort on your part. The Karmic Board is ready to now speak to you and disclose what is required for these to become effectively expressed. But we are going to help you. But you will have to use your creative endeavors once again to make this easier upon yourselves. And to do that, you're going to need to firstly know the cosmic laws that apply to each facet of your creation, and then how to make them manifest. As unascended beings acting like ascended beings, this is going to be another challenge, and here is where not everyone within this class will rise to the occasion. Again, I tell you, this has nothing to do with personalities. It is all about your impersonality being steadfast within the divine will of your I Am presence. Try to realize that in the ascended condition of life, we are always free to use the pure universal substance for whatever purpose we choose and give it any specific quality we desire for the requirement at hand. If we wish to use material that is imperishable, we impose that quality upon the pure universal substance, and it responds accordingly. If we wish a form to be manifest only a definite length of time, we give the substance of which it is composed that quality or command, and the form manifests accordingly. Try to think upon this power which is within you. Call into use the great sea of universal substance from which you may draw without limit. It obeys without exception the direction of thought and records any quality or, indeed, virtue imposed upon it through the activity of the feeling nature in mankind. You are all presently in a time of great turbulence as you pass through misinformation, financial and economic unrest, as well as all the fear that is bombarding you from all directions, not to mention the continued blasting of electromagnetic waves of all forms. The love radiation that you can qualify around your biological self can be that insulation from all this because you have that power of protection within you. Universal substance is obedient to your conscious will at all times. It is constantly responding to humanity's thoughts and feeling, whether they realize it or not. There is no instant at which human beings are not giving the substance one quality or another, and it is only through the knowledge that the individual has conscious control and manipulation of a limitless sea of it that he or she begins to understand the possibilities of their own creative powers and the responsibilities resting upon themselves in the use of thought and feeling. Mankind, through the centuries, have qualified the universal substance with perishability and limitation, and the bodies it uses today continue to express those characteristics. The entire human race has storms of hate, anger, revenge, and many other outbursts of feelings, and the four elements which have recorded those qualities return them to man through the world of nature as storms, disease, pestilence, floods, etc. The people of earth have cataclysms of thought and feelings as resentments against each other, against injustice, against places and things, knowingly and unknowingly sending out the feelings of revenge, retribution, and payback. The great sea of universal substance upon which these qualities have been recorded expresses them back to their source, the individual, by means of the four elements, as cataclysms in nature, or the free will nature of the being individually or as a group. Such activities are but the Creator's ways of purifying and shaking itself free from the contamination of human discordant thought and feelings, and returning to its pristine condition of God's purity, perfection, and balance. Just as what is now in full velocity around the planet as a result of the mighty sacred cosmic white fire lightning substance that was initiated on the global day of independence. Every moment each individual is receiving into his or her mind and body the pure and perfect life of God. Each moment he or she is also giving a quality of some kind to the pure universal substance of God. This quality or characteristic he or she alone creates and generates, and they must receive it back into their mind and body. For all things in the universe move in circles and thus return unto their source. So be super aware of what you think, say, and do right now. For you are all in a very precarious position as you balance yourselves upon the fulcrum of equilibrium or a very slippery slope. The Ascended Masters have learned the law of the circle, the law of the one. Hence, we impose upon the pure universal substance only the quality and characteristics that we wish to use for the special work in hand. If we desire a manifestation to express a certain length of time, we give the command, and the substance of which that special manifestation is composed responds accordingly. Nature never lies, for she is a truthful recorder of the qualities playing out upon her. She obeys us and obeys man, but there is a certain activity within her that mankind is either in ignorance of or stubbornly refuses to acknowledge. For this ignorance and stubbornness, it pays and pays and pays it back continually until the individual personal self learns and does acknowledge this fundamental eternal truth. It is the law of the one, the law of love, the law of harmony, the law of the circle, the law of perfection. When humanity really does learn that truth, and obeys his everlasting decree, the discords of earth and the destructive activities of the four elements will cease. There is a self-generating and self-purifying force within nature that rises and throws off all that disagrees with the law of the One. This force, or energy, is a pushing activity from within out, and is the one power ever expanding. If discord is imposed upon a pure universal substance, the electronic energy becomes temporarily dammed up within it. When such accumulated energy reaches a certain pressure, expansion takes place, shattering the discord and limitation. Thus, the great life of the One, the ever-expanding luminous essence of creation, God in action, overpowers whatever seeks to oppose it and goes on its appointed way, the supreme ruler of the universe. The ascended masters of light know this, and are one with that knowledge. Mankind may know it, and be at one also, if they will. It is within the capabilities and possibilities of every individual, for it is the innate eternal principle within self-conscious life. All human beings are self-conscious life. This principle plays no favorites, and all can express its fullness if they really fully desire it and put it into rightful application of God life. Within the life of every human being is the power by which he or she can express all that the ascended masters express every moment, if he or she but chooses to do so. All life contains will, but only self-conscious life is free to determine upon its own course of expression. Hence, the individual has free will choice to express himself either in the human limited body or the superhuman divine body. He or she is the chooser of their own field of expression. He or she is a self-determining creator. He or she has willed and chosen to live an unconscious life or a self-conscious life. When one individualizes within the absolute, all-pervading life, they choose of his or her own free will to become an intensified individual focus of self-conscious intelligence. He or she is the conscious director of his or her future activities. Thus, having once made the choice, he or she is the only one who can fulfill that destiny, which is not an inflexible circumstance, but a design plan of perfection. It is a blueprint which they elect to express in the realm of form and action. So you see, dear ones, a human being may at any time determine to rise out of his or her human qualities or limitations. And if they will give all of his or her life, their energy to that determination, they will succeed in any activity, task, mission, or project, or even directive or governing entreaty. Those of us who have raised the body accomplish the ascension by giving all unto the God self within, and hence it expresses through us its perfect qualities, virtues, and the divine plan of life. So if you will give me your attention and the ascended masters, first giving to your I am presence, followed by giving to us, then we will be able to increase that energy by the release of your energy, which is not yet at its highest levels of resonance and vibrational frequencies of light to do the work. But remember, dear brothers and sisters, whether it is in your business, whether it is in your government, or whether it is in the conquering of any imbalanced conditions, the imperative need is for some of your physical energy, which is your life, to be released to us, that we may amplify and intensify that to do the things in the physical octave that are required. It is imperative. Without that, we could not do it because mankind has placed themselves in that condition by lack of understanding. And you have to pay it back now. You have to give back to life all you have taken. Think of it. No one is to blame, but mankind has accepted life embodiment after embodiment, taking life for granted. That life was supposed to flow. Well, you were given free will to use that energy. Energy in itself does not discriminate. It flows. And if you do not choose how it is going to act, then it just flows forth like that, with no particular accomplishment of any kind. But when you realize that you are the one who must determine whether that energy is going to act constructively or destructively for you, then you become the master of the energy that is flowing into your world, and you can direct it constructively. That is victory. Notice the difference when you have allowed this energy to flow forth, and it is like a fan going in all directions through the power of your radiation, or its radiation through you. Then notice the difference in your acknowledgement of your presence of all life. You have your power of concentration and attention, which is your life. If you hold your attention upon a given objective for its accomplishment and hold it there unwaveringly, the power of life is compelled to flow directly into that. If you will hold that concentration and attention absolutely, unyieldingly into that objective, there is nothing in creation that can prevent its achievement. Not one thing, dear hearts. If you want to succeed in your daily lives, your divine plan or whatever your attention is upon, train yourself to hold your attention upon the goal and compel the life to flow into that. By harmony in your feelings, it will accomplish amazing things. Once you have broken through the human shell and find one small achievement after another, then the strength and courage arises in you, and you will say, "I am the victory of life." Then, as you continue to hold that concentration or attention where the direction of life flows into that without wavering, just the same as when you take a magnifying glass in the sun and move it around, nothing happens. But you see the light move if you hold it still. That power of light from the sun will start a fire. Just exactly as the power of your attention is held on the concentration, that becomes the fire of life that sets ablaze the energy for its perfect achievement. That is why mankind has not achieved this, because they allow their attention to be taken here and there, except once in a while they come back to that goal, but only for a short time. Again, the attention wavers here and there and everywhere instead of being held steady. And why? Because the human accumulation of mankind does not want mankind to hold concentration long enough to let them find out they are the master of that energy and life that flows through it by the power of their concentration. That is the secret of life. For all of you within the ego, you have seen and felt and know how the concentration of your energies produce results and manifests unbelievable things. It is not more energy you need to achieve your goals. Energy you have in abundance. What you need is more concentration. You need to become human angel magnifying glasses held in the light of the great central sun. So, when I have told you at the beginning of this discourse you have work to do, now you have the guiding directions of magnified, sacred white firelight substance to consider more carefully. Think more deeply upon this now and use it wisely. It will save you copious amounts of time and energy. Trust in your ascended I Am presence, dear masters. Reevaluate your invocations and decrees, and more so, your qualifications upon the qualities and characteristics of that which you wish to manifest and direct energy into and upon. New group exercise. In light of this content and our beginning from a higher position of achievement, I wish to place far more concentration and focus upon the content of this discourse. The title of the discourse tells much more than you may have deemed just yet. Becoming the magnifying glass of the light of the great central sun. Over the next 7 days, I am proposing that each disciple and initiate here do some very deep and clear assessments upon who and what you are in terms of your vocation and your volition. Master DK made reference to this for the new children, but in truth, many of you here in this class are still either unaware or unsure of who you are, what you do, or why. We are still working upon the 12 divine mind powers, but until you place all of these within your lives and live your life fully by them, you shall simply remain somewhat in denial from making any real headway from here. This negation of higher truth will not happen at the levels of true mastership of which you all desire to achieve. I have explained in the above discourse about the power of concentration and attention. Yet if you do not know who or what you are in terms of your vocation and volition, all you are doing is groping around in the dark, hoping that the light will appear one day. It won't. You have to make every effort, give up any disparities within your life, and make sacrifices that you presently desire to hold on to. For example, let us take the divine order, or the purity and perfection of this God virtue. Is your life now, after some 2.5 months that we have spoken of this, in perfect divine order? Or do you still have multiple areas in your life that are still in some form of chaos, storage, hidden, held at bay, unfinished, unwilling to face? A master has nothing out of order and nothing out of place. So if you are a mother, father, sister, brother, husband or wife or partner, are you living your life to the maximum of what that means to the truth of who you are? If you are a cook, a baker, a builder, farmer, a writer, a nurse, a manager, lawyer, laborer, a channel, healer, or any other person, trade worker, profession, or professional, are you retired? Are you honoring that part of life that justifies, validates, and complements all that you do to its highest truth? Or are you just filling in your time doing just enough to keep your interest or the interest of others, just enough to keep things afloat, offering you what you feel you need? I am not interested in your past or future. What I am interested in is what and who you believe or know you are now. This is vitally important at this stage in an effort to reevaluate your levels of concentration and focus upon what you are and what you do to magnetize the future to you now. The ego is taking responsibilities that one could say are somewhat outside of normal volitions and vacations. Why? Because the laws of humanity are just upon the other side of your present thinking that you are ready to dissolve. But before one can pass beyond this threshold of breakthrough, what you think and say, share and speak of with those around you every day, and what you actually do to discern and support your own truth with those who are connected at higher levels of awareness. Who you truly are as Christed being will not become the very foundation of what you create. Be very mindful of these laws. The law of the circle, the law of one, the law of life. What do you wish to have return full circle to you now? So, if you are here to make a difference to a world in need, you cannot and will not do this at the cutting edge of change unless you change your present ways, your thinking, your use of language, and what you place your concentration upon and give your attention to. Not within the higher levels of resonance. While continuing to live your life from the levels of your present resonances and light quotients, albeit more aware than most, you will only be avoiding the potentials you have right now before you. I plead with you again, and you will need to make some very serious decisions in your life without further delay if you are going to be granted the authority needed to command what is to act out here and there. I cannot be more explicit or overt about this. I make this statement unequivocally. Change comes with human effort. Creation requires 7 very clear steps that the Elohim have shared with you and 9 steps that I will be addressing in my next discourse. www.elementalgracelines.com/7 steps. 7 days, dear hearts, to refine and define your now moment volitions and vocations, and then to make the new decisions in your life that will determine where you shall give your spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical energies to, and what you truly desire to create for yourself, first and foremost, and then the area of expertise. And it must be expertise if free will has been fully aligned with your I Am presence. That divine path and plan of that which you choose to excel within. So, it matter not who or what you are now, laborer or prime minister, mother or counselor, trade person or professional. All are irrelevant when it comes to the I Am presence. It is not what you do, but the attitude and how you perform your life through rightful application to God life. This we will then address as a group again on Tuesday next week. This is a class activity. Take the path of least resistance. No longer seek further that which is seen. Rather seek only now that which is unseen. May you pass every test. I am your holy brother, Saint Germain. Benediction. We give praise and gratitude to you for your life, love, light, and your intelligent power that manifests in our minds, our hearts and bodies, embracing us all within and without. We give thanks for allowing your wisdom to govern our hearts and minds so we may act in accord with your will. Beloved Mother, Father, Life, we thank you for protecting and healing us. We thank you for your divine consciousness that allows faith to open the door to our hearts, where flows a steady stream of Christ's love. Mighty radiant presence, I am the intelligence governing all outer and inner activity, making it one perfect activity that brings forth perfection in all worlds, kingdoms, and the elementals of nature.